Hello YouTube, this is Weston's Toys and Collectibles, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron Trilogy, Part 3, Paleotrex, the deluxe fossilizer, the first deluxe fossilizer in this new series of Transformers Kingdom figures. And by fossilizer, what I mean is he can actually break apart, like a weaponizer, into several bone armor pieces and attached to other figures. So, taking a look at his box, you can see robot mode and his Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil mode. How he breaks apart into several parts, and then of course being attached to Warpath, which I'm actually going to show in this video. On the front, we have this really nice artwork of Paleotrex in his robot and T-Rex form. And it looks so good. This looks like the Nemesis crashed back here. So that's really cool too. Once again, we have the same artwork here on the side with the golden disc. And then just multiple characters from the Beast Wars franchise. Autobots down here running into action. You have the Ark here crashed into the volcano. Some Predacons. Some Maximals here. The Nemesis there. And then Megatron and Galvatron's faces kind of merged here on this. Looks really cool. And of course Unicron up here in the back. This figure also has a purple Predacon logo here on top, which looks really cool. So coming down to the figure itself, here he is in his robot mode, and he looks really there's something about him. He looks stumpy but also lanky at the same time. Like, his legs seem very stumpy. His arms are super long and lanky. His body is really lean. And then like the Tyrannosaurus foot claws as his hands. So he's got huge hands, small legs, thick thighs, and then just kind of this skeletal motif, which makes it look very creepy. And you can see I have the mask down. You can actually lift that up and reveal his actual face. This looks really cool. For a quick size comparison, here he is with his Wavemate Warpath, which is a bit of a shorter deluxe figure. Here he is with Vertebrake, which is the core class fossil figure. So she can kind of just like hang out with him, and then of course when Ractonite comes out, we can have, you know, the three of them together. And I believe there's going to be either one or two more fossilizers released, which would be great. I do want to see more of these fossilizers because I really like the concept. So now I'm going to go ahead and transform this into we're going to go ahead and take it apart and transform it into its dinosaur fossil mode. So to start, it wants us to, well, first you want to remove the weapon, remove the chest piece. To begin the transformation, close up the face and rotate the whole head around. Bring up the upper jaw of the Tyrannosaurus first, and then bring up the lower jaw. This actually does port over this peg here. Then you want to go ahead and fold the toes out like so. Rotate here. And actually I want to rotate it the other way because how the bones line up. And then you're going to just pull those off. Come down here to the legs, and you're going to pull out these heel spurs, which are actually 5mm ports as well, and just plug. Ow. It's a bit tight. This joint's really loose on mine. Plug those right into those ports. So now you have a really tall boy. It says to pull this out and then pull it off. And then you're going to bring it over to this side and just plug it in to that side. Bring in this piece, and that will complete the tail of the Tyrannosaurus. And then just pull this off and straighten this peg out like so. You're going to then set that off to the side. All right, so coming around to the back, you want to move this back here on this hinge here. Pull that off as well. And we're going to take this and plug it into this port here. Next, we're going to just rip the legs off of thighs for robot mode. And what are we doing here? We're going to bring them up like this, so this peg is facing with these pegs here. Bring out the little T-Rex arms. Make sure these pegs are as far down as they go. And then you're going to just split that apart and bring it in here. There is a slot here and a port here. And then there's a tab here and a post here that will line up. You just want to line those up. Bring this in. And then bring the other one so it lines up as well. And then this will angle in like that. And you can bring that down to match up with it. All right. And now we can go ahead and take the legs and plug them onto these posts here. Like so, and like so. And then bring them down. Bring them forward a little bit. Bring this back, bring this forward. Like so. And you can see the joints are a little bit loose on mine. And then we want to take this and it will just tab onto these two tabs here underneath with these two square slots underneath here. So that'll just tab in on its chest. And there is the Tyrannosaurus fossil mode. And it looks pretty cool. Looks very accurate to an actual Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil. And it's just the paint detail looks great as well. In my honest opinion, I like the coloring of the bone plastic. And then also the contrast with the darker shades on there. It just looks awesome. Now I wouldn't have minded if they just went with the bone tan color. It wouldn't have been a big problem to me, but man, this looks so good. And then also they got like the fade in here on the legs where it goes from the darker to the lighter color. Just that fading looks great. You have a bit of, yellowing and some darkening here in like the orifices of the head, as well as some darkening here on the ribs. Just looks so cool. And it's also really nice that they kind of did that to fade from the, the dark or the lighter plastic into the darker plastic here. So you got the lighter plastic here, and then the paint kind of fades into the darker here, and then it goes into a darker piece of plastic. It works. Something about it works to me. Now, what doesn't work very well is the fact that these joints are so loose on mine. Like, ridiculously loose here. And then this side also on the hip. This port is so loose. On this side, that part is very nice and tight. But this knee is just so loose. I can go in with a little bit super glue, just drip a little super glue into the joint and then move it until it, kind of tightens up. But for the review, I wanted to go as natural as possible from how it was when I got it out of the package. Man, it just looks great. And you can kind of just pose the legs however, if your joints aren't so loose that it loses balance. The little arms here are on ball joints, but otherwise they're just static parts. The head doesn't go really up or down except for this joint here, just due to how the robot head has to lock in. And then of course the jaw does open to a great degree. The tail can go up and down here. It can't go side to side unless you turn it. And then of course it rotates here and then rotates here. So you get a little bit of posability out of the tail, but the legs, there's tons of usable posability here, but it just, due to joints being a little bit loose, it doesn't work as well. It limits it. It kind of hinders it, honestly. So you have this post here that goes into a port, so of course you get a swivel there. You get this disc hinge here, so it can go, out to a great degree. You have this hinge here, which is, the heel for transformation, so you don't really want to use it in the dinosaur mode. You have this hinge for the proper knee. However, you can use it and fake it as a double knee if you needed to for whatever reason. Look how loose that is. It's just so loose. Anyway, you got rotation here. You also have this rotation here because it's on a hinge or a post into a port. Very tight post on this. Like I said, swivel here. You have the ankle tilt back and forth there, and then toe tilts as well, which is mainly for transformation. So yeah, pretty good for, what it is. I just wish those joints were tighter, especially, in his knees. And good Lord, stand. Like, because those joints are so tight, I can't get him into a upright standing posture. It's annoying. Very annoying. Oh, and then this also will rotate here if you wanted to rotate the body side to side. For whatever reason. Kind of a waist rotation for the dinosaur. You can just see how loose these joints are. Mainly just these knees. Here he is, if I don't drop her, compared to vertebrate. Oh my gosh. These actually seem to be worse now that I'm reviewing him. Like, I am not exaggerating that. Anyway, there he is with the vertebrate. And here he is compared to a robot mode deluxe. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and break him down into his individual components to weaponize him, or should I say fossilize him, to attach him to, I'm going to attach him to Warpath, which is what it shows in the instructions. So basically you just want to take this off, that'll become a little shield. Just straighten out his legs, pull these out like so. I want you to pull this out and then pull that off on both sides. So just pull that out. That's such a tight attachment. Pull this off. Bring this, open this up, pull this out, pull this off, and then I was saying to bring this around like so, and then tuck these into the sides, and then you want to pull this, all this apart. So pull that off, pull that off, and you just get like a menagerie of components. And then I want you to pull this out as well. Yeah, so just a whole bunch of different components here. So the first thing it shows is to take this and attach these leg sections here. Bring these forward a little bit. And then to attach these as kind of grabbing claws. Oh my gosh. And it says to attach this to Warpath's back. Just like so. There we go. I'm going to take this off because it's going to get in the way. Alright. Then it wants us to kind of assemble this all back into a sort of axe weapon, I guess. He's going to hold this in this hand. And you want to put the shield on his wrist. So that's cool. Go ahead and put the mace into this hand. And then put this onto this arm. You just kind of open that up if you want. And that looks pretty cool, to be honest. There he is, all fossilized up. It doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad in the least. Now the other one it shows, you want to take all this back apart. Anyway, so this one, what is it? Okay, so it looks like we're going to rotate the tail here. So that'll be like that. Gonna take this piece, bring this up and lock it in, and bring this up. And then this is going to attach here, like so. And then we're going to take this and plug it in from the bottom of his hand. Oh, stand up, dude. My Warpath has some loose leg joints too, so there are a few loose joints in these Kingdom figures. This doesn't work very well with this figure. He just has all this arm kibble here, and it gets in the way. So I'm going to rotate his wrist a little bit so that it kind of gets out of the way. Holy crap. I can already tell this is going to be a problem. So, you want to take these off here, and they're going to come down like this, and then the peg will come up like this. And that's going to plug into his foot, but like it plugs in way back here. Alright, I gotta see how this turns out. Does not seem like it's a good idea. Okay. Those are just waste. Those are so far back, it's not even funny. Like, there's no way he's balancing on those. Especially with the hinges being so darn loose. Alright, I'm going to set you off to the side. For these, I just want you to rotate now and I'll bring it down here. To kind of be over the shoulder cannons. Let's just bring it down this joint. And then plug that back into his back. Plug this onto his wrist again. Good Lord. This is not stable at all. Got loose joints in the legs for Paleotrex. Got loose joints in his hips itself. Oh, but that's the best I'm gonna get him to stand. He's kind of leaned way back, and it's, oh man, that was not very well thought out. The choice of figure that they used in this imagery is not very well thought out. However, there is Warpath fossilized up with Paleotrex in the second configuration that they show in the instruction. Excuse me. So yeah. Now with a figure that has a port closer to the front of the foot, it probably would work a lot better, but with him having it like closer to the back of his feet, it doesn't seem to work out as well. And then of course just having these loose joints in his legs anyway, and then these joints being loose as well, it just seems like a recipe for disaster. So that's just another option you can use. So I'm going to go ahead and transform him back into his transform Paleotrex back into his robot mode, so that we can go ahead and take a look at his articulation, because we didn't take a look at that before I tore him apart. Now there are also several other joints. So like there's these little pieces here that can come out on those if you wanted to use them as like side armor or something like that. So there's options also with this. Anyway, there's that. Here's this. Put that on there like that. Take that off there. Put that in there. Plug this in here. Let's see. These are very tight pegs for how loose of a joint they are on. Plug his chest piece in like so. And his head's actually detailed to look like the original mace weapon on that came with the original Optimus Primal, which is really cool detail that they little attention to detail that they used here. almost a suggestion that Optimus Primal ripped off this guy's head and turned it into a mace. And then he also has, this tail section here, which you can use as like a club or something. It has this tab here, so it's stored on the breastbone here, but it doesn't tab in securely. And well, now it's gonna stay on. There we go. It usually it just fall out on the drop of a hat, but now it's deciding to stay in while I have him kind of posed. Pose naturally, but I just kind of put it in his handy and use it as a club. Pretty cool. Articulation wise, you can open and close this up. His head's on a hinge here, and then his peg hole uses swivel. This mask is quite sharp. It has all these little spikes all over it, as well as the little teeth, so it is kind of sharp. Putting your fingers on there, trying to turn this, especially if you get at an angle, and then it's just kind of difficult to turn this here because it's so much plastic friction, just all the way down. And this is like an inch long here on the post, so just all that plastic friction inside there makes it kind of difficult to turn, and I end up like poking myself with this a lot, so you can see just how much I poked my fingers just turning it there. The shoulders, you can rotate here because it's on a post into a port, and then hinges out like that. You got a rotation here, which is a lot better to use than this rotation here, because good luck turning this one. It's just so tight. You gotta hold that piece in place, and once you get it, it'll go around freely. But then, of course, these super loose disc hinges here. He has a rotation here on a mushroom peg, halfway into the wrist, and back and forth here. Hold on a second. Anyway, the wrist is on a pin or a mushroom peg. You have a pinned hinge here on the wrist here as well. It goes in and out. And then one here that's kind of got like a soft detent to it, so it locks into a couple locations, and it can go all the way back like that and in that far. If you disengage the dinosaur head back here, you can get a ab crunch, which is cool. It may be a little bit of a cheat, but hey, it works. It gives it a little more articulation, so I'm happy with it. There is a rotation here because it's plugged into a port, and then universals for the hips, so they can go back that far, forward that far, so full Monty, and then you get a full Van Damme split, and then some. It goes a little bit further, you can see. A rotation here at the thigh. It's a little bit limited due to just the shaping of the rib cage versus the crotch here. Looks like I got some paint wear on here already too, some paint chipping. And then this joint here brings the knee to 90 degrees. You have this joint here, which you can use as, like a weird tilt, just to kind of get his legs out a little bit further. But it doesn't look great. It makes him look all bow-legged. And then these can move up and down if you need them to for any posing or whatever. So if you got him in like a running pose, you can kind of have his back heel there as well. Even though this guy's feet are so small, he's not very good for posing. In dinosaur mode, I think is the best mode for him, but yeah, he's a decent little figure. If you like this idea with this fossilizer weaponizer type gimmick. He's pretty cool. A really nice, first look at how these fossilizers will turn out. Mine did come with a card of Optimus Prime, and the sticker comes off and reveals Optimus Prime kind of in his sleeper mode or dead universe type look. So just kind of floating in space. So anyway, I do like how they're doing these cards. I guess there's going to be 4 of each one. So you're going to get 4 of the same sticker, and then underneath is a different card throughout these 4 waves or whatever, however many waves we're going to get in Kingdom. And of course there's the back with the golden disc. So I do recommend this guy if you like the if you like this new gimmick that they're coming out. I'm a sucker for, dinosaurs. I'm a sucker for fossils. So he's definitely right up my alley, but he might not be for everybody. So if this is something that you like or want to get a hold of, I can recommend it. If not, you're better off skipping it. You're not going to miss a whole lot. But like I said, if this is something that you feel like you can't live without, he's a pretty good figure. So this has been my review of the Transformers Kingdom Deluxe Class Paleotrex. And I'd like to thank you for watching. And until next time, till all are one.